Good morning, everyone. So I just watched an interesting video, probably when I'm a few minutes late here this morning, about Tai Chi walking. Have you seen the advertisements for Tai Chi walking? This was a video to explain what's going on with it. Um, they have spent something like $500 million on these ads that are everywhere around the world, and it's all a scam. It's just absolute bullshit. You can't you can't do Tai Chi walking for only 7 minutes a day, and you'll lose 100 pounds, and you'll be 20 years younger. It's bullshit. Yes, Tai Chi and Qigong can help with your life for sure, but you're going to get out of it exactly what you put into it. It's the same as any other program. All right. So, Jill, I know that you're almost falling for those ads. Now, this was to me the interesting part. They kept saying the ads are really bad, and they are. There's some Tai Chi master, and he's totally buff, and he's obviously 60 years old, and you can be old like me and still be a real man, right? Well, it's all bullshit. It's all AI. And they said, so why did they do these bad ads? And they spend all this money on these bad ads. He said they do it on purpose. They don't want to attract people who understand this is a scam and won't fall for their scam. No offense to anyone, but they want people that are not quite as, let's say, skeptical about things. They want people that are going to fall for this. And you sign up for the program, and then once you sign up, you can't get out of it again. So it's called what do they call it? Something like a mousetrap or something. Oh, a roach hotel. It's easy to get in, but it's impossible to get out. All right? And so it was really interesting to see that. I've seen these ads sort of on the side of my consciousness, and when I'm doing
My mom actually was asking me about it, and I mean, she was skeptical. She's like, "Yeah,
right.
right." But she asked me about it, and so just like that's how it got on my radar because I actually haven't seen any of those.
Well,
Um,
you haven't missed anything, but they're
yeah,
easy to find if you're looking for them.
yeah, but I have seen a fair amount of AI generated, like health
Oh
gurus,
yeah, it's not just Tai Chi; it's
right?
all
But
kinds.
yeah.
Yeah.
But the Tai Chi one, my mom alerted me to that one. I was like, oh, interesting.
There is. I don't know that we've ever talked about this, but there's a tremendous amount of scam out there having to do with Tai Chi and Qigong, and it's always been there, and it's been there in China too. By the way, it started in China. It's not something the Americans did. Um, but one of the things you see all the time for Qigong is the Qigong master who can put a wrinkled up newspaper on the desk and then light it on fire with his chi power without even touching it. It's just bullshit. It doesn't work that way. All right. All right. Let's do some magical Qigong. I should say, it's not that there's not some interesting stories out there. My master's master, when he met his master, Hu Yao Jian, so Feng Zhi Chang met Hu Yao Jian. And he was introduced by a friend. This was back in the day when you couldn't walk in and meet a master. You had to be introduced by someone who already knew him. And he went in to meet him, and expecting this ripped up guy, and Master Hu was a very mild, gentle person. So he looked like a shoe salesman. And after their discussion for a while, it was obvious that Master Feng was skeptical about Master Hu's powers. So Master Hu finally said, okay, look, the only way to prove this to you that there's something here is for us to engage with each other, to touch hands. So I want you to hit me. I'm just going to stand here and I'm going to let you hit me anywhere in my body that you want. And I want you to hit me hard. No, 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 Master, I can't do that. You're an elder. I can't do that. No, I insist that you do it. No, no, Master, I can't do that. I insist that you do it. Okay, well, don't blame me, you know. Master Feng was a really tough young guy. So he hauled off and hit him in the middle of the chest. And he said it was like hitting the rubber tire of a big truck. It really hurt his hand, and it didn't even move Master Hu. And then Master Hu said, okay, now it's my turn. And that's as Master Feng describes it. He said, that was the moment I realized I had fucked up. He said, that was the moment I remembered his nickname. And his nickname was One Finger Conquers the World. And he said, Master Hu put one finger out, and he came and he touched me in the middle of the chest. And he said, I flew back 7 feet and hit the wall. And that's when I decided Master Hu was going to be my master. So it's not that there's not real power and real energy out there, but you're not going to get it in 7 minutes a day doing Tai Chi walking. Okay, can you guys see this? I've got an Apple notification up on my screen and I can see it. Can you guys see it? Okay, this Mac can't connect to iCloud because of a problem with Malcolm D. And I have gone through this a million times with them. What they want me to do is this dual password bullshit, and we don't need that here. We're not in an office setting, but I can't get rid of it. So hold on a second. I have to kill this notice. Okay, let's do some exercise. And the other side. Lee circles. And reverse. And shoe circles. And reverse. And ping circles. And reverse. And reverse. I'm going to tell you guys a story. You'll hopefully most of you will remember Michael Shea. He came in to substitute when I had that hurt foot. Michael is an old Tai Chi brother, and he and I used to do push hands all the time in Master Zhang's class. And Master Zhang would we would be pushing. Master Zhang would come up and he would watch for a few minutes, and then he would walk away. He rarely said anything. But one time he did, and he said it in Chinese to Michael, and Michael looked a little crestfallen. And then Master Zhang walked away, and I said, "Well, what did he say?" He said, "I'm cheating. I'm cheating." I said, what do you mean you're cheating?" He said, "I'm cheating. I'm bending at the knees instead of sinking in the qua." The qua is the whole. It's also called the dang. Is the whole area, the lower abdomen here, right? It even includes the upper thighs. So it's this whole area that works. When you sink, you're sinking here, but you're not sinking at the knees. You may flex at the knees. There's a little flex, but it's not a sink. All right. The legs stay strong. Where you sink is in the qua. Okay, however much you think you're flexing, cut it by 90%. It's a very small movement. By flex I mean this. It's just very small little movement. All right? It's not like this. All right? It's just a tiny little bit. All right? However, you have to sink in the qua. Because sinking in the qua is sinking your chi. Sorry, I have to put my costume on.
So how do you know you've sunk in your claw?
Well, that's one of the reasons that you do push hands. Because when someone pushes you, you will know whether you're sunk in the qua or not. Right? Because if you're not sunk in the qua, you're not grounded. Right? In a sense, these are the hip joints, right? So this outlines the qua, but these are also the hip joints. If you ask most people where their hips are, they're going to point here. But those are not your hip joints. Your hip joints are inside here. Look at an anatomy book, right? That's where you want to sink. It's a little tricky to get, and this is one of the problems with working by video here, is you can't feel anything. Remember that you've got two bodies. So this is a hourglass, right? And it has the outer cabinet. That's your physical body, and the actual glass hourglass, right? But the sand inside, that's your chi. So the cabinet itself, the physical cabinet, needs to be strong. It can't be weak and fall apart, right? Which is why you don't want to bend too much in the knees, because it weakens you. Instead, what you want to do is sink the sand, and that requires your mind, because you've got to pay attention inside and go, what is he talking about? Oh, sink your chi. Sink your chi. You can feel it if you slow down and watch. Sink your chi down into your qua and then down to the bottom of the feet. Oh, now you're not top heavy. When you sink in the knees, think of my physical body as the cabinet of the hourglass. When I let that structure get wobbly, or I sink too much in the knees, it distorts the physical strength. It doesn't mean it doesn't flex. Of course it flexes. You should never hyperextend any joint, especially the elbows and knees. But they don't bend. Now sometimes they do bend, but in these exercises they don't. What you do is you lower your chi. And Jill's going to ask again, what the heck are you talking about? It's something that you have to find yourself. You have to find this inside yourself. All right? It sinks. This is why Tai Chi is done in a relaxed manner. Because when you're not relaxed, what does it look like? Oh, I'm not relaxed. All my chi comes up and it's all locked in my joints and I can't move. Just relax. Relax. Now it all flows down. You can prove this to yourself really easily. I'm going to have you do an exercise with me. All right? Put your hands out here. Put your sticks down. Put your hands out here. Now, raise your elbows. Raise your shoulders. All right, raise it. All right, get them up there. All right, now your chi is all up here. Can you feel it? Can you feel this tension here? Right? Is it comfortable? No. Now, pay attention inside your body and just reverse this. Could you feel all that tension being released? Could you feel something up here? It's stress, but it just relaxes and falls down. All right? This is called raising your chi. This is a classic way of doing it. So you're walking through the woods. A tiger jumps out from behind a tree. Ah! Right? What's your response going to be? Fight? Yeah, right? Turn around and run like hell. Fight or flight or freeze. Fight, flight, freeze. What do most people do? They freeze. All right? Oh, it's a tiger. And they're frozen. And you go, well, it only lasts a second. That's all the tiger needs is a second. And your lunch. All right? This exercise is an exercise in freezing. You're raising your chi. It's like, oh, a tiger. All right? It's just like a bad movie. Ah. All right? You can't move. So don't do that. One of the reasons to do push hands is to scare you. Now, push hands is not fighting. It's not sparring. It's a deprogramming. It's a program of deprogramming. And what do I mean by that? So, Jill and I might be going to push hands. You're in a class of 30 people. Everybody grab the guy next to them, and you're going to do a little push hands. And they're just some drills that you do, and then you can do some free pushing. So Jill and I have known each other for 10 years. Nevertheless, when you enter into a simulated conflict situation, it will raise your shit. It will raise it in your body. You will raise your chi. That's what they want to have happen so that you can see it happen. And you just keep doing this. Jill knows I'm not going to hurt her. I know Jill's not going to hurt me. Nevertheless, when you enter into each other's space in a simulated conflict situation, it's going to raise your shit. The point of this is to notice your own shit and to gradually let it deprogram itself by doing this over and over and over, a couple times a week, week after week, month after month, year after year, until finally you don't react anymore. When you've stopped reacting, then you can start responding. Response is different than react, right? Push hands is a lot of fun, but it really has a very deep purpose in it, and that's one of them. It's not the only one, but that's one of them, right? So when you're doing Qigong, you bring your experience with push hands into the Qigong. Right? When you're doing Tai Chi, you bring your push hands and your Qigong into your Tai Chi, and then you bring your Tai Chi into your Qigong. It all works together, right? The worst thing, the thing you've got to deal with in all of those are habits. Their habits are unconscious. You don't know you got them. Right? Jill doesn't know that if I come at her like this, she's going to react. Nobody thinks they're going to react until somebody comes at you like that, right? Right? And you will react, right? Until you get yourself deprogrammed. And it's the same with things like bending at the knees. There's nothing wrong with bending at the knees. What's wrong is when you don't know you're doing it. All right? When you are doing this exercise, I'll get my stick here. When you're doing that exercise, your body has to be, you're pushing down like this. You're pushing into the mud in the Yangtze River. That means your structure has to be strong, because you're pushing down and pushing a boat straight ahead. So you can't afford to just sort of wobble like this, right? Or when you bend at the knees, you're cutting your own efficiency. Tai Chi and Qigong are about moving toward 100% efficiency, right? So I'm pushing down, my knee actually has to come up. When I push down on the left side, watch my left knee, right? It has to come up. And now on the right side, it has to come up. Now, it's not just my knee coming up. It's my ankle, my knee, my hip, my spine, and the top of my head. It all has to come up because I'm pushing down. Same on the other side. My body has to come up. So what happens is, between the stick going down and your body coming up, here's the 2 points. This is the stick going down. This is the body coming up. You're stretching it. And you stretch on the other side. All right? Stretch. 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 Now, if you're going to stretch, that means you also have to relax. Watch. Stretch. Relax. Stretch. Relax. Stretch. Relax. Well, relax where? Relax here. Not bending the knees, a little flex, of course, but where you're really sinking is here. Relax. 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 stretch, relax, stretch, relax, stretch, relax, stretch. That's the actual exercise. The stick's just something to do. The stick's not the point. Right? You will absolutely do this exercise over and over and over again in Qigong and Tai Chi. Right? Stretch, relax. Right? Stretch, relax. Stretch, relax. It's the same thing. But you got to watch yourself inside. Right? You got to watch, you got to feel this stuff. Right? Okay, let's go ahead and put the sticks down. You don't have to have a stick to do these exercises. I like a stick. Everybody likes stick. It's just a lot of fun, right? But it's like a yoga helper, you know, a yoga block or something like that. You don't have to have a block to do yoga. You don't need to have a stick to do Qigong or Tai Chi. Right? So let's just do it open-handed. Stretch, relax. Stretch, relax. Up the back, over the top of the head, down the front, under the crotch, up the back, down the front, up the back, down the front. The Danshan is turning, the microcosmic orbit is turning. Your hands, your physical body, what you're doing is creating a current. And your physical body is just floating in that current. And reverse. And now up the front, down the back. And the Danshan is flipping backwards. Microcosmic orbit is turning backwards. You've created that current, and your physical body is just like a leaf on a river. It's just going with the current. So Jill, these circles, front to back, what are they called in Chinese?
Li.
Li circles, L-I, Li, right? The first move of every Tai Chi form is this. Right? It's just 3 Li circles. Backward, forward, backward. All right? Everything in the body doing this. Now, let me show you how to do it wrong. Watch my knees. Ow! It actually hurts my knees. All right? And there's not as much strength in my body. I want to lower my chi when I do this. Pump. When you begin, pump. It's expansive. It's yang. It's boom. It's growing in every direction. That's what lifts your arms. The energy's coming up the front of the body. That's what lifts my arms, not my shoulders. Then the second move is called Lu. Right? That's Peng. Lu is turning on your own axis. Lu, Lu, Lu. However, when both hands do it, it cancels out in the physical body. But energetically, there's still one hand coming this way and one hand coming this way. Boom. Right? The energy's spreading like this. Now comes the sinking. Right? If I cheat, like Michael was doing, Master Zhang will come over here and tell you you're cheating because you're sinking in the knees. That's physically sinking, but that's not what you're practicing. What you're practicing is energetic sinking. Right? All right. You don't sink very much in the physical body. You sink in the energy body. The energy body sinks to the Dan Chen and then down to the ground and into the ground. Now you're rooted. And when you're rooted, you can relax because you've got a good root. Now you can push out from the bottom of your feet to the tip of your fingers. The energy comes from the ground. Watch. If you do that from your shoulders, you're going to hurt yourself. It has to come from the ground. When class is over in 10 minutes, look something up on Google. I'm serious. Look up the ground reaction force. This is just pure physics, modern physics. The ground reaction force. When you sink into the ground pushes back. That's the ground reaction force. And that's what a Tai Chi player uses to win. Right? Someone comes in and pushes you, you don't just bend your physical body. Right? You take their push in and sink it through your body to the ground, and then it's going to bounce off the ground and back to them, providing you have the skill. You bring their energy in, take it to the ground, it goes to the ground, it bounces back. It's exactly like this. All right? It's exactly like this. It hits the ground, it bounces back. If you have no experience with that, you'll probably not catch it. And I don't mean just catch it. You won't know what's going on. You won't be able to do anything. But if you've practiced enough Qigong and Tai Chi, you'll feel that energy come in and you'll take it down to the ground and then boom, back. It's not because your knees bend. It's because you've learned to sink your Qi along with the Qi from your opponent. You've probably seen these discussion things. They're online everywhere now. About dealing with human relationships and how difficult it is to deal with a difficult relationship. Somebody's really angry at you, or maybe they're just angry and you just happen to be walking by, so they get angry at you, or whatever. How do you deal with it? You learn that in push hands. Because when someone comes at you in an angry manner, you're going to be a little bit shocked, of course. Even if it's somebody who's been mad at you 100 times before, you still, wow, this is not fun. This is difficult. Right? So you train and train and train and train to let it pass through you. Their anger is not your problem. Their anger is their problem. So what do? You let their anger come in. Master Zhang used to say this all the time. Help your opponent do what they want to do. Don't fight them. Help them. So their energy comes in. Yep, bring it in. Bring it in. I'm going to sink it to the ground and then pop it back at you. And Master Zhang could do that. He would bring you up in front of the class and go, basically, shove me, hit me. And you go, oh, I don't want to do that. No, I insist, do it. And you wouldn't even see him move. His moves were so, he used to say, if I don't show you, you won't see this. So I'm going to slow it down and make it obvious so you see what's happening. All right? It comes in, it hits the ground, it bounces back. It's very simple. But you have to develop a feel for it. It's not me being angry at you, it's just me bouncing your anger back at you without anything added on top. I'm not adding any of my crap. I may have my own crap, but I'm not adding it on. It's just bounce, bounce, right? When you're learning Qigong, that's one of the things you can be working on, but you need to practice the fundamentals. Don't bend at the knees, except when you're supposed to bend at the knees. Instead, sink your chi. It's coming in, sink it down to the ground. Now bring it back up, right? Let's finish with this exercise. All right? I'm pulling energy into my body. I'm pulling it in. Sink it down to the ground. Pull it in. Sink it down to the ground. Pull it in. Sink it down to the ground. Pull it in. Sink it down to the ground. Watch the blue and the red outlining my quad here, my hip joints. There's a little movement in here that's the key to this movement, and it's, I'll have to slow down so you can see it. All right? When I start this movement, I'm going to step out to the left, and now my weight's all on my left. I'm going to bring it back. Now all my weight's on my right. But now I have to move my right foot forward. How can I move my right foot forward? I got all my weight on it. So I have to shift my weight to the left again. And it's that little shift that is the key to this movement. When you move energy from one leg to the other leg, it has to go through the Dan Chen, right? It has to go through this area. You don't even have to think about the Dan Chen. It just has to go through the lower pelvic area, right? It has to go from one leg to the other leg. Now, there's two ways this can go. I'm going to use the big ball here. There's two ways it can go. There's the way almost everybody does it, and there's the Tai Chi way, right? I'm going to go from my right leg to my left leg, right? From my right leg to my left leg, from my left leg to my right leg, from my right leg to my left leg. This is what everybody does. They turn the ball over, over, over. What's the problem with that? The problem is you're pulling your own root out of the ground to do it. Watch. I'm pulling the root out of my right foot out of the ground to turn it over and sink it into my left. Now I pull it out of the ground on the left to sink it to my right. So it's very, very inefficient. It's a long path. This is a long path to go all the way up, all the way over, all the way down. What's the alternative? The alternative is to turn it under. Turn it under. Turn it under. It's a much shorter path. It's much faster. And not only do you not pull your root out of the ground, you actually sink your root into the ground. And the other side. Here, 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 here. So hidden inside this exercise, and it's true for any exercise because you're always shifting your weight, you're sinking, you're sinking. You're turning your Dan chin like this, not like this. All right? Sink, sink. It's much more relaxed. All right? Watch. Sink to the other side. You won't even see it. All right? Shift your weight. Shift your weight. Shift your weight. Now, I'm watching you guys do this. When you try to do it, like, oh, I gotta do this and do this, it makes it almost impossible. All right? It's like dancing. When you learn a new dance step, it's impossible to make it happen with your brain. Nevertheless, you got to go through that period of learning. Right? You're going to do the shuffle. You're gonna start with this exercise. 1, 2, 3, 4, boom, Northern Shuffle. Right? But eventually it's going to get much looser than that. And that's the same thing, right, as this. Watch this. Right here. Right? This whole exercise is focused on that one little 5% part of it. Jill, does this make sense? Okay, when you get that to where it's like, oh God, I don't have to think about it anymore. It's just happening, right? Now you've got a tool in your tool chest, and you can bring that into every other Qigong exercise and every Tai Chi movement, right? It just happens. You don't have to think about it. Okay, guys, we are out of time.